to line up on the right side, single file guys. For electric, you don't have to line up inside that inside box like the Nitro. You can line up anywhere along the straightaway. Just make an imaginary line across the straightaway and you'll be good to go. Once again, still waiting for a few of the invite guys. They're yelling at me that we got to get going, but I'm still waiting for these guys to come down from the pit area. We should have Tessman, Mayfield, Rigdon, Tebow, Benitez, Hooks, Fuller, Danny, Wiggins, Van Dalen, Lux, 4 of the Mechanics and Little Lux, and all the up the track right now. All right, guys, let's go ahead and roll it out.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to MidAmerica Outdoors here in Jay, Oklahoma, located just outside of Tulsa. Ken Stout, Mike Garrison, and Scotty Ernst ready to bring you some world-class RC racing action. Ready to get things going here. A little bit later start than we had anticipated on. We just got a bit of an update on what the delay was, and we're hearing one of our invite drivers unfortunately cut a finger, so had to address that, take care of that, and we certainly want to make sure they are okay first before we get going. But we've got a lot of racing here today, Mike. We spent Thursday practicing, we spent Friday qualifying, and today is all about A-mains. We're going to hand out a ton of money along the way.
Yeah, these drivers, this is a big race for all of these racers, and a lot of money on the line. This is a one-of-a-kind event for sure here at the Visions Off-Road Week at MidAmerica. It's been a fantastic week on and off the RC track, and I think this is a big opportunity for not only the RC racers to be involved in an event like this, but also for the off-road industry to kind of see what RC racing is all about. Our first race up here is going to be our Open e-buggy B main. So these drivers, your B main drivers, the top 3 finishers out of this one will be bumping up into your Open e-buggy A main, and your winner of the Open e-buggy class will take home $1,000.
Very cool for sure, and as you take a look at this track, it is absolutely beautiful. Joey Christensen, Aaron Webb doing a great job, plenty of track workers as well, trying to keep this thing wet, and it has been a brutally hot couple of days here with temperatures at 100 degrees and just raging sun, not a cloud in the sky. We get here today, though, there's a nice layer of overcast. That will certainly change things and help keep some moisture inside of this track. So we look forward to how that develops as well, and it kind of throws another curveball at these guys after 2 days of blazing heat.
It really does. It's going to change, possibly how the cars are tuned and how the engines are running for the Nitro guys, and also it's going to change the track surface a little bit and how the track comes around. The sun yesterday was baking down on the track, and when they put water down, the water almost evaporated before it even hit the dirt. And as you can see today, when they put the water down, it's hanging out for a little bit. And that's going to change things up here for these drivers. A good look here on the driver's stand of Trevor Michalesco. We saw him yesterday put in some fantastic runs, and he's looking for another one here in Open e-buggy B main.
Yeah, and in this B main, it's pretty stacked. There's some real players inside here. Camden Line certainly has had some moments of brilliance. Tanner Denny, one of the invite drivers. Caden Fuller, and Caden Fuller actually, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, stepped up into the invite class in the Nitro category. So Braxton Culley, Tyler Hooks, another one that earned his way through the qualifying rounds up into the invite class. We'll see him in the 3 A mains for the invites. Trevor Michalesco as well. I mean, there's some real players inside here, this Open e-buggy category, and these cars are just as fast as the Nitro burning machines.
Yeah, as this race gets set to go here into this one, Camden Lime had some tough luck yesterday. He's looking for a good, clean run here. He's starting out front. That's the best place to be. But Tanner Denny right there behind him, another strong contender. And like you say, Caden Fuller, today is Caden's 15th birthday. So celebrating his birthday, starting third on the grid here in the B main for Open e-buggy. And like you say, he already took home $1,000 there. That's a pretty good birthday weekend. $1,000 racing your RC car, that's not bad.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure would love another birthday present here if he can be one of those 3 that bumps up into the A main. We are off and running here with our B main and Open e-buggy. Wow. Big airtime right off the bat in the back. There's a big double back there. This is turn number 2 as you watch them make the 180 now. They blow by that 180 on the opening lap to keep everybody out of a wreck, really, for the most part. And it strings them out just a little bit, gives them some racing room.
Yeah, I believe that was Caden Fuller launching it right off the start. They're trying to make an early pass on Tanner Denny. Wasn't able to make it happen. What was able to happen, though, is when all that took place, trouble on the straightaway there. Camden Lime was able to stretch out his lead just a little bit here. The S-Works driver out of Arizona as he works his way back around onto the back side of the track over this big back double. You can see the gap now on Tanner Denny in the number 2 spot. Caden Fuller in the 3. Again, your top 3 finishers are going to bump up to that A main. So these guys, they want to win. They want that number 1 spot. But at the same time, in the back of their mind, they know all I've got to do is finish in the top 3, and I'm going to the A.
And, of course, you can see the track marshals out there as well, helping out the drivers in case they do get in some trouble and end up on their lid. This is a timed event, 8 minutes in distance. We've already covered a little more than a minute, so it clicks off quickly here. As you can see, the top 3 there, all very close to each other.
Yeah, and right here, this is Tanner Denny, Caden Fuller, and Tyler Hooks, the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Tyler Hooks in that number 4 spot. He's just outside of the bump spot, chasing down Caden Fuller. Fuller's in a tricky situation here. He's trying to hunt down Tanner Denny for 2nd, and also he's playing a little defense as well as Tyler Hooks is creeping up on him there. A little bit of breathing room. Oh, Tyler, a big mistake at the end of the straightaway there, goes tumbling off. That's going to give these 2 guys a little bit of breathing room now as they head into the step-up section.
Yeah, and I'm a full believer in the best defense is a good, strong offense. So if he can't get up and get around Tanner Denny, that's going to buy him some breathing room. As you talked about before, Hooks having some issue there, and that'll also take a little bit of pressure off. So at that point, you don't want to make any crazy mistakes either, right? Take any big risks, any big chances that could get you in trouble.
Yeah, it looks like one driver off the track here in this one. That's going to be Trevor Michalesco. It looked like his car coming into pit lane. I don't know if he had an issue with the vehicle. That's a shame to see. He was on a fantastic. Oh, Tanner Denny, big mistake there in the number 2 spot. That's going to drop him back. Caden Fuller now up into the number 2 spot.
How about that? So Tanner Denny will have a little bit of time here to try and get that thing going, and more issues.
And now Braxton Culley. Braxton Culley is going to jump up ahead of Tanner Denny. So Culley now up in the 3 spot, the green, yellow, and white TLR buggy, followed by Tyler Hooks in the pink, blue, and white. And Tanner Denny behind him. Hooks to the inside of Braxton Culley. Culley back to the inside now. Look at the Tekin track cam there as they come down the long straight there.
Excellent stuff here, and as you see that, still 5 minutes of racing yet to go, and you might think, hey, man, it's over. He's got the position. Anything but, because stuff like this happens all the time.
Braxton getting caught up in lap traffic there. That's going to allow Tyler Hooks back up to the number 3 spot. So much talent. I tell you what, these guys on this side of a track, the whole other obstacle on the track is the competition, just trying to work your way through traffic clean. We're looking at Braxton Culley right now as he sits in the number 4 spot just outside of the bump. Tyler Hooks in the 3 spot, Caden Fuller in the 2 spot. Obviously, Camden Lime out front with a 1.5 second lead here in this one.
Yeah, Camden really stringing together some nice laps, and so far has had some pretty clean track in front of him, able to navigate through some of the lap cars as well. Does have quick lap at the event so far at 20.77.
Tyler Hooks there threading the needle, working his way through traffic. Now Braxton's got to do the same, and he's got Tanner Denny right behind him, and Austin Wick not that far back from them in the number 6 spot.
Well, again, some solid names, some solid players here inside of this open e-buggy B main. As you see him airing out there, beautiful setup for the apex of the turn, that left-hander. Oh, the step up bites him. Tagged it, just didn't quite clear it. We've seen a number of guys clear it, but hit it just a little too hard and bounced the back of the car up in the air and flipped it over.
And now what that is allowed to happen here, as you can see, Braxton Culley has closed the gap up on Tyler Hooks, and right behind him is Tanner Denny. This is going to be an intense race for that final bump spot into that open e-buggy A main. They're coming up on lap traffic. Everybody seems to be playing pretty nice here. You can see the traffic slowing up, letting them go by. As lapped cars, looks like they got a fairly clear track ahead of them.
This big double right here is awesome, and we've seen a number of those guys clear it and stick that the apex for that right-hander perfectly. So much fun to watch.
A good view there of our Live RC track cam as they come through the step-up section here. Last time by the line, Tyler Hooks with a 21.2. Braxton Culley with a 21.9. Ooh. And Ken, like you were talking about, you can already see the track seems to have more grip this morning, hold a little more moisture than it did yesterday when they put down the water. And it's going to change this up for these guys.
Winding this one down here, under 3 minutes to go. Caden Fuller now is our leader. Camden Lime has fallen into second. Tyler Hooks in third. Braxton Culley in fourth. 1 spot out, looking to get in. The top 3 transfer. They bump up.
Well, I did not see there's our leaders right here. That's Caden Fuller in the green and orange. Camden Lime in the pink and blue right there behind him. 1 and 2.
So Camden Line right there again in attack position here, but needs to be careful. He's in a safe spot as well. hang on here for a couple more minutes, and he does bump up.
Yeah, and Caden right now putting in a fantastic run, a nice smooth run for him. Camden looking smooth as well. I'm not sure what happened between those two, if Caden just hunted him down or if Camden may have made a mistake and dropped back to second. But you can see they're working together right now, neither one pushing each other too hard, as they know they're both on their way to the A main if they can stick with it.
Yeah, and I saw Fuller way out there by the pipe on that front straightaway, so managed to stay out of trouble. Did not do so there, and takes him with him. Both guys with some issues right there, and you said it, you called it right there. You can see Camden Lime certainly did play nice right there. The last thing he wants to do is take both of them out. Yeah,
Camden checked up there, and I know these guys are they're both friends off the track as well, so they want to work together, and they both want to make it up into that A main. They definitely don't want to take each other out. There you see Camden checking up on the big double there, even slowing up just a bit. 1:20 left to go here into this one.
But it almost bit him. You kind of get out of your rhythm, and then he turned in a little bit early because he was so used to carrying so much speed. Still got up on the pipe, managed to get away with it. Stuffs the nose right there in the step up.
Yeah, it's a fine line between playing nice and, like you say, you get knocked out of your rhythm. It's hard to get back into it, and this is, with only a minute to go, this is not the time to get knocked out of your rhythm.
And clearly, as you can see here, this track has a ton of character, is how we would put it. That's called holes and ruts, and it is off-road for sure. I love it. I mean, it's great. Everybody's on the same surface. You've got to set the car up, try to keep those tires on the ground. And, of course, that comes back to damper setup as well. Ride height. These guys have been digging hard for the past 3 days, really.
Well, and look at this. In the number 3 spot now, Braxton. Braxton Culley has moved up into third. Tyler Hooks has dropped back to the number 5 spot. Now Tanner Denny is up to third. Braxton Culley in the 4th place spot. Not sure what happened. A mistake there for Caden Fuller. Camden Lime back to the front now.
Yeah, as you talked about, really the transfer spot is what we want to keep an eye on here with Tanner Denny and Braxton Culley.
Camden Lime making another mistake there, handing it right back to Caden. Neither one of these drivers want to win it. They both want second. Time is going to expire here for these guys as they come around across the line. Caden Fuller looks like he is going to take the win here in this one. Camden Lime coming around for that number 2 spot. The race for the final bump as it comes down the side straight, it is going to be Tanner Denny. Tanner Denny with that final bump up into the open e-buggy A main.
Congratulations to the top 3 there, and special thanks to everybody else inside of the category for playing. These guys are very, very talented. It's been a lot of fun to watch them here the past couple of days. And you come out here and you get in that B main and you strive hard to make it up into the back of the A main. For some of them, they just won't get it done, so their day is done here in terms of the e-buggy category. There's a look at your top 3. Caden Fuller, Braxton Culley, and Camden Lime is actually it said number 4 there, so Caden Fuller, Camden Lime, Tanner Denny, I believe, is how they ended up. And once again, we will get it over to Scotty Ernst. Been with us the past couple of days. A little bit cooler out there, my friend.
Yes, it is, Ken. Thank you very much. We're here with Caden. Caden, that only might have been an 8-minute race, but it was definitely a fight you and Camden had.
Yeah, me and Camden had a fun battle. We kind of checked out at the end, so we were just cruising, trying to, not wreck each other.
What's your plan now going into the A? You're going to start towards the back, but hey, all you need is a chip and a chair in a big game, right? You're in it.
Yeah, I'm just going to try to stay patient and see what I can do.
All right, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, another Fuller making it to the big show. Back to you guys.
How about that? The Fuller's very, very talented for sure, and we'll keep an eye on them. It can be done. We saw some guys in the qualifier, the 30-lap qualifier in the invite class yesterday, come up from 13th, 12th, up into the top 3. So it can certainly be done if things go his way and he drives a good race. We'll take a quick break here, and we're going to come right back. Up next will be the big dogs, the Invite Nitro buggies. It'll be A main number 1, $1,500 on the line, and the best of the best are here to do battle. come from all walks of life to compete. Never settling, continuously pushing the limits of RC racing. These elite drivers have all won their fair amount of accolades. They've all got skill. They've all got trophies. Now they've set their sights on something they all want even more. Some cold, hard cash. Here at the MidAmerica Outdoors Complex in the heart of the country, we have some of the best RC drivers from all over the world ready to compete in a new format on a brand new track for the chance to take home some cool new hardware. And with $30,000 on the line, these RC racers will have more than just bragging rights on their competition. Established veterans, newcomers with dreams, families from all over the country have come to kick up some dirt, and we're here to bring you all the action. From Jay, Oklahoma, this is RC Racing at Visions Off-Road, presented by A-Main Hobbies. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to MidAmerica Outdoors. We're in Jay, Oklahoma, about an hour outside of Tulsa, and it is race day. This is the third day we've been here on the complex with some of the absolute best RC racers in the world, and we're looking forward to handing out a lot of cash here today. I'm Ken Stout, Mike Garrison sitting right alongside Scotty Ernst up there with the drivers. Will keep us up to speed with them, and we're going to kick things off here with our first of 3 A-mains for our invitational class. It's 15 vehicles strong. We had 4 people bump up into this invitational category over the course of yesterday during the qualifying times. We should tell you there's a lot of money up for grabs here. Each one of these 3 A-mains, $1,500 is going to the winner. If you win the overall, which will be based on a low score, it's a $5,000 payday. If you happen to win all 3 A-mains, it's a $5,000 bonus. There's $14,500 up for grabs here for RC racing, Mike. It's a big day. It
is a big day for all of these drivers. I tell you what, they have been anxiously waiting, and I feel like right now every single one of these drivers, the nerves are picking up, and the intensity is about to get going. As you can see, these cars there from pit lane all getting warmed up, the mechanics doing their job, getting the cars set up, ready to go. And we're getting set for a pretty exciting event here as we get set to go here for A-main number 1.
We're going to talk about these drivers. 11 of the 15 ranked inside of the top 35 in the world. 10 of those ranked inside of the top 22. 6 of them ranked inside of the top 10, including the number 1 ranked driver in the world, Ryan Mayfield, here out of Arizona, looking to take it here. And in his qualifiers yesterday, he won the first one, he finished third in the second one, and he was second in the third one, doing exactly what you would expect. With that said, it is certainly no gimme. There are some talented people here, and we look forward to them challenging Mayfield. So it's going to be an exciting day. We had some great racing yesterday in our 30-lap qualifiers.
Oh, yeah, I tell you, talking about Ryan Mayfield, he started in the front, in the middle, in the back. No matter where you put him on the grid, he made his way to the front and got the job done, and he's going to be hard to beat here this weekend. But like you say, any one of these drivers have the capability to do it. There we're looking at Spencer Rivkin's car, and he's just one of any one of these 14 other competitors that can make it happen.
Speaking of Ryan Mayfield, he kicked off the season already, 19 events, 10 wins, 14 podiums, 17 top 5s, and we had a chance to spend some time with him.
Hey, I'm Ryan Mayfield from Chandler, Arizona. It's awesome to be invited here. So far we're having a great time. It's a lot different event than we're used to, just being amongst, all these other full-scale cars, and almost all the best guys in our industry are here racing, and the purse money definitely doesn't hurt the situation either. I've been racing since I was 6 years old. I'm 35 now, and my dad got me into it. Just started out in front of our house playing with him, and then went to the local track and been doing it ever since. I mean, I think RC cars have taught me a little bit how to drive. Depends on if I leave the racetrack angry, but with RC cars, it teaches you what an apex of a corner is, so you understand that kind of stuff when it comes to racing. I know I came into this, I was racing young with my dad, and there was, it wasn't like, oh man, I want to do this and make money. I want this to be my job. It was just something for fun. So now that it's my job, I guess the tough part is trying to keep it fun, because we do it day in and day out. It gets a little agonizing occasionally, but at the end of the day, you just got to remember that your worst day at the track is a better day than being in office. So it's not a bad gig. It's going to be the survival of the fittest out there as far as who can actually just put a clean run in. So far, there hasn't been a single guy, we're some of the best guys in the world at this. I haven't seen a single person put in a clean run yet. So it's going to be interesting who can balance that speed and consistency out. And I'm still looking for it, but we got tomorrow to figure that out for the mains. I love that it's a family environment. You know, any age kid. We got, you know, Felong here. He's, what, 10 or 11, racing with us. And, you know, his dad's helping him. And, you know, most of the guys you see here it's a son and, you know, father-son race team, essentially. Dad's here helping their kid. And, you know, like the Fullers, the dad helps both his kids get around the track, you know. So I think that's a cool part of it. I think, you know, it's these cars give you that competitive, you know, if you're a competitive person, you can race RC cars and kind of scratch that itch, and you can do it safely, as long as you don't get hit by a car while you're turn marshaling out there or something like that. But and you can drive an RC car wherever you want. You know, you throw it down in a parking lot, dirt field, you know, whatever. And it's fun. For me, I get to travel the world to do this, and it's a good gig, like I said earlier. Yeah, I think it means a lot for the RC industry to have this event at Visions amongst all the full-scale guys, and a lot of kids and family members that are here watching maybe their brother or father race the full-size stuff. They get to see the RC car stuff, so it gives RC a lot more exposure. We don't typically get to be around, you know, all this, you know, activities going on around us. Normally we're stuck in some field or in some warehouse, and, you know, unless you know that place is there, you're never going to find it. So people are just walking by here and checking it out, which is awesome. That's exactly what we need in this industry if we want it to grow. And yeah, I look forward to what they can do next year, you know, after this first year, learning from it. It sounds like already plans are bigger and better for next year. So if we can keep this going, it's awesome.
And there's a good look at him up there doing what he does, getting some practice laps in here before we start this first A main. We had a chance to watch him do what he does. We talked about it at the top of the show that there are paid professionals out here. They make a living racing these cars. He's one of them, ranked #1 in the world on a true worldwide format is what I would also say out there. There's not a whole lot of forms of motorsport where it's truly worldwide. People can compete from anywhere in the world. So to have a world ranking and then to be at the top of those world rankings right here from the States is very impressive.
Yeah, Ryan Mayfield, as he said, he's been doing this a long time, and he's got all the tricks up his sleeve. He's a veteran driver. He knows how to make it happen, and he's going to be tough to beat here. The track is rough. The track is gnarly. He excels on this style of track, and he excels when there's a challenge presented to him. So there you see him on the track getting some warm-up laps in before we get this race underway. He's got Jared Tebow just ahead of him there. Jared and him have grown up racing RC together, and longtime competitors on the track, longtime friends off the track. And it's going to be very exciting to see these guys get this underway.
So Scotty Ernst also with us here, and I know he mentioned at the top of the show as well a little bit about this racetrack. Joey Christensen, the man behind this, designing this track, did an incredibly good job. His buddy Aaron Webb, those two connected at the hip, worked really, really closely together, and they've given us a great racetrack. It's been 2 days of nonstop action out here, multiple classes, a lot of cars, and 2 days of intense heat at 100 degrees. Now today we have some overcast. It's taken a little bit of pressure off of both the track and the competitors. So we look forward to seeing how this thing develops. But you mentioned it before. This thing is rutted up a bit. It has some holes in it. It is a true off-road track, and you'll see these cars put it through its paces. They make a ton of steam, and it is very possible as they start lining up here to burn those tires, all 4 of them, by the way, off of that car. You talked about it before as well at the top of the show. These things make about 3 horsepower, about 2 cubic inches is the size of the engine. So they are tough. They are strong. They're very fast, burn 30% nitro. There's an oil mix in there, and then the rest of it, about 60-62%, is methanol. They make a ton of power per weight. I would put them right on par with a Indy car to give you a horsepower to weight ratio, and of course all the adjustability as well.
Yeah, and a good shot here on the driver's stand. That is your current world champion right there, Ty Tessman. There's a good look. You can see the mechanics. They got their fuel bottles. They're going to top them off with fuel before we get this race underway. And only a few moments now and an exciting start here.
And these are the mechanics.
These are the mechanics working there with their drivers, and their role is just as important as the drivers. As we are going to see some pit stops. They're going to be coming into pit lane hot and heavy. They're going to need fuel throughout this race, so that's going to play a big part of this as well. As we're getting set to go here, you can see the cars are warmed up. All cars up in the air, and they are down and quiet. And we are off and underway. Invite Nitro Buggy A main number 1.
Yeah, and I saw one of those mechanics drop that car very last second. Everybody else had put the car on the ground, so maybe some strategy there, but I actually thought he was a tick late.
Ryan Mayfield right now going to be leading us out. And for the competition, this is the worst spot you can put Ryan Mayfield, is starting out front, as he's going to be tough to be reckoned with here as Seth Van Dalen in the number 2 spot.
Yeah, we talk about how the lineup was. So we had 3 qualifiers one day ago, and they start off based on how they finished that qualifier. Qualifier number 1, it was Mayfield that won it. Consequently, he starts out front. Seth Van Dalen right there behind him. Spencer Rivkin had a great day in all 3 qualifiers a day ago as well. Ryan Lutz and then Jared Tebow now round out your top 5.
Well, here they come back around on the backside, and as Ryan had mentioned, these guys are the best in the world, and to see them make a mistake, it's rare. But on this track, almost every single one of these drivers have had at least multiple mistakes, if not major crashes, throughout their runs in qualifying. So it's going to be tough here in these main events.
And it might not even be a mistake. It just might be a curveball from the track as we watch this first 40-lap main. This is a hard lap count, not a timed event.
Yeah, 36 laps left to go here in this one. Ryan Mayfield leads us out. Spencer Rivkin in that number 2 spot. The Kyosho Ryan Lutz in 3rd. Seth Van Dalen in 4th. And world champ Ty Tessman in the number 5 spot. Oh, mistake there for Rivkin. Gets inside the tube. That's going to drop him back a spot. Ryan Lutz now up into the number 2 spot.
Ryan Lutz, a solid player as well. We'll keep an eye on these guys up in the front. Finished up 4th in the first qualifier yesterday, and then won the second qualifier. So Lutz a player, man. He can for sure get it done.
Well, and Ryan Lutz had mentioned to us yesterday in the pits, just talking to him, that he was going for more of a lightweight setup, a little bit smaller track, shorter lap times. He was working on that Kyosho car, trying to get it dialed in, and it looks like right now he's got it working well for him.
Yeah, been racing for near 30 years, so a lot of seat time there for Lutz. 2nd to the DNC in the Pro Electric, and also 5th at the Pro Nitro, in a Pro Nitro Truggy. So really, really talented driver, but so far nothing for Mayfield out there. And we watched Mayfield do this one day ago. He's so deadly consistent, and he just keeps putting in the laps, and a lot of times the race just comes back to him.
It really does, and he knows how to play the game, that's for sure. Ty Tessman moving up at the number 4 spot now. Mason Fuller in 5th. You see that pack of cars mid-pack right there. Fuller, Tebow, Wiggins, Denny, and Pavidis all right there. Ryan Mayfield, though, still leading the way. Ryan Lutz in that number 2 spot. Mayfield driving the Mugen J Concepts car, working his way back into the infield section. Rivkin sitting back in 3rd.
The Kyosho, you talked about that for Lutz. Rivkin sitting back there in 3rd, a team associated. J-Concept tires on that one. 17 events so far this year, ranked events, I should say, with a couple of podiums. He has been right there, 11 top 5s. Expecting good things out of him. Finished 3rd, 5th, and 3rd in his qualifiers, as we talked about. Had a great day one day ago.
And a new fast lap of the race has just been set there, a 20.927 by Ryan Lutz in the number 2 spot. Fast lap for Ryan Mayfield right now is a 21.1. So Ryan Lutz's fast lap is about 0.2 of a second faster than Mayfield's fast lap at this point. But as you've mentioned, it's consistency. It's all going to come down to who can be consistent and put in consistent fast laps and not just 1 or 2.
And the leaders front of the field already completed 10 of the 40 laps, or a quarter of the way through this race. And you talked about pit stops. It's going to be an important part of this. And who had the best pit stops during qualifying? It was Ryan Mayfield, the only team to break the 5-second mark. A 4.99 second pit stop. We'll find out if he can get it done here again today. But he's being attacked right now by Ryan Lutz all over the wing.
Yeah, Lutz is putting the pressure on him hard right now. And then those pit stops, his mechanic this weekend and doing the pit stops, Drew Spurgeon, doing a fantastic job. And it may come down to the pit stops here in this one.
Yeah, the pit stop delta will be able to tell you what they are as they pop up, but somewhere
Oh.
typically in the 5 to 6 second range, and a moment there for Lutz.
Yeah, Ryan Lutz just catching the landing on that one just a bit wrong. He goes tumbling. That is now going to allow Spencer Rivkin up into the number 2 spot with Ryan Mayfield. Some breathing room now. He can take a deep breath, and this is exactly where he wants to be here for AMA number 1.
And I think you see Mayfield come out here, not always the fastest, but as you mentioned before, that consistency, lap after lap after lap, no mistakes. And he waits for those guys to make a little bobble, and he drives away just a little bit, and just a little bit again. See, Lutz has things gathered back up here now and trying to put it back together. But Lutz really, really fast out there, for sure, fastest car on the track.
Lutz right now putting the pressure on Spencer Rivkin. Rivkin holding strong in second. You see Mayfield right now with a 1.77 second lead over Rivkin. So Rivkin still not out of this one, obviously. It's still anybody's race. In the number 4 spot is going to be Ty Tessman, Mason Fuller in 5th, Tanner Denny in 6th. Wiggins, Ogden, Tebow, Wynn, and Pavitas rounding out your top 10 right now.
A 9-turn track. You can see the track absolutely looks beautiful. Nice job of prepping that here this morning. That step up has caught a number of guys. They were clearing that a little bit earlier in the weekend, but it looks like they've given up on that option, and they sail that big double out in the back and stick the apex of the right-hander coming onto the front straightaway.
Well, we got 24 laps left to go here in this one. Ryan Mayfield leading us out, but look at Spencer Rivkin. Rivkin has really closed the gap up on Mayfield. Rivkin bumps that inside tube just a little bit there, loses a few tenths of a second. Here they come back onto the backside of the track, and you can see Ryan Lutz right there with him as well.
And I just think it goes back to Mayfield running consistent laps here. Maybe there's a little more speed in the car, but whenever you find that speed, you risk it just a little bit, and that's what we've seen out of Rivkin and Lutz. Rivkin right there now, though. Oh, and closing out of the way. An aggressive move right there to take the lead.
Rivkin right there showing him a wheel, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday throughout qualifying as well. These drivers say it's going to get extreme. There's some big money on the line, and they got to do what they got to do to take that number 1 spot. Rivkin saw the opening right there. He took it, got in there, showed him a wheel, and put Mayfield upside down. Now, what Rivkin's got to watch out for with 22 laps left to go, if Mayfield can catch back up, Mayfield knows how to make some moves. So we may see some fireworks before the end of this one.
Right, if that's the game you want to play, I've got that in my repertoire, and we'll pull it out of the bag if you want to go that route. Of course, right in the middle, that is Lutz. So all 3 of them will be very close here. Again, Ryan Lutz also able to take advantage of that. Let's go back and watch his pass.
Yeah, watch this instant replay right here. Little bit of, Mayfield just left the door open just enough. Rivkin took advantage of it and put him upside down. Luckily landed back on his wheels, only lost a couple spots. They've got about a 5-second lead, your top 3 on 4th, so they got a little breathing room. You can see right now Jared Tebow a lap down from these guys in the mix there as Rivkin trying to work his way back around out front here in this one.
Tebow finishing up 5th, 4th, and 4th in the 3 qualifiers. The Techno driver, another one, extremely talented, ranked 6th in the world. See if he can pick up the pace here just a little bit. He is deeper in the field for sure after starting off in 5th.
Well, we're going to start seeing some pit stops as well with only 19 laps left to go. We'll see if Spencer Rivkin comes in for fuel this time around or not. You can see Team Associated's Richard Saxton. He's ready to go. Rivkin's coming in for fuel. That's his mechanic right there, Richard Saxton. He is in. He's on the wall. Saxton with the fuel gun. He is in and out. A good pit stop for him there. Ryan Lutz, though, comes out right behind him. That's going to be a battle for 1st and 2nd now.
Rivkin with a 6.4 second pit stop, a 6.199 for Lutz. So Lutz a little bit quicker there in the pit stop range. Ryan Mayfield yet to come in, and we saw this one day ago as well. Mayfield will run a couple of extra laps. As people pull off in front of him, it opens up the track. He can stick some good clean laps and then come in and make his pit.
And there's Mayfield in and out of the pits right there. Drew Spurgeon with another fantastic pit stop. 4.9 second pit stop. Mayfield is back in the running.
Fastest we've seen of the week so far. Spectacular effort again out of the Mayfield team.
Here comes Rivkin down that side straight, back around to the front side here. Rivkin out front leading this one. A 20.726 fast lap of the race by your race leader here. Making the Team Associated car work for him here. Ryan Lutz in the number 2 spot. The Kyosho driver in 2nd. Lutz now putting the pressure on Rivkin.
Yeah, he's right there on the wing as well, and Rivkin with a little bit of a mistake right there, a 2-time 2-wheel drive champion as well.
Rivkin tumbles. Ryan Lutz now up to the number 1 spot.
Well, how about that? Hands it over to him. Cable came up there as well that they are utilizing out here for this race. The MAV TV crew here shooting some footage, and we look forward to this one for sure. Great stuff here as once again Lutz out front. Lutz winning the second qualifier one day ago.
Yeah, Ryan Lutz right now out front. He's just got to keep it smooth and on all four wheels at this point. Rivkin in that number 2 spot. Mayfield in the 3 spot. There you see Mayfield going up and over the step up. 14 laps left to go here in this race. I'm going to estimate that to be roughly another 5, maybe 6 minutes at the most for these guys. Here comes Ryan Lutz. They will make most likely no more pit stops for these guys. So the one pit stop was all they were going to need.
Boy, and laid up just a little bit short there coming into the step up. No harm, no foul, no pressure right behind him as you mentioned before, Rivkin having an issue there. Saw one of the cars back behind him. It might have been Rivkin, went for a pretty big tumble. Rivkin no longer on the screen, and Mayfield now bumping up into second as they cross the stripe.
Yeah, Mayfield taking over the number 2 spot. Rivkin dropping back to third. They had a good battle going there. There's Mayfield. Mayfield is making a charge, and as you mentioned earlier, he only puts in what he knows he has to put in to win this race. And if he's got to push a little harder and get a little extra out of the tank, he's going to do it. And I think right now he's turning up the heat.
So good stuff here as we watch these guys battle side by side. Here we go again.
Rivkin could have got into him on that one. You saw him check up just a little bit. He said, you know what, I've already got you once in this race. I'm not going to do it again. As they come back around down on the side straight, Ryan Lutz right now out front with a 2.2 second lead. Now it's down to 1.9. So the last lap by, Ryan Lutz gained nearly 0.3 of a second. That doesn't sound like much, but in a 10 laps left to go, he could very well catch Ryan Lutz here in this one.
Yeah, and I think you saw Rivkin make that aggressive move. That was for the lead. He did not make the aggressive move for second place. And just like that, Rivkin goes for a big ride and trouble right there for Mayfield as well.
Yeah, Mayfield up on the pipe there, able to save it. And that's going to allow Mayfield to focus all of his attention ahead of him, chasing down Ryan Lutz now. He no longer has to worry about Rivkin right behind him. He doesn't have to play any defense, and as you would say, offense is the most important. Now he's all and there's Ryan
How about
Lutz.
that? Lutz makes a mistake.
Unbelievable. We've got them both side by side now. Here they come. This is going to be a race right down to the wire with only 8 laps left to go.
Exciting stuff here, two of the absolute best going at it. This is for the lead, $1,500 on the line. Lutz out front, Mayfield applying all the pressure.
Yeah, and of course, obviously the winner of this one, Ryan Mayfield to the inside. He's got the move. Mayfield now taking over the number 1 spot. Lutz is going to try to dive back to the inside right here. Lutz playing clean, though.
Look at that setup, man, for that left-hander in midair. Beautiful job out of both guys. Absolutely the best doing it here and showing us why they are the best. Mayfield getting a little bit of a gap right here.
Well, the winner of this first main, Mayfield, a mistake. Here comes Lutz now. Lutz going to try and dive up the inside, not going to be close enough. The winner of this main is going to be the only driver with that chance to win all 3 for that $5,000 bonus. So this is an important main right here. They touch just a bit. And look at that, Ryan Lutz, even for the lead, checked up. Let Mayfield get back straightened out just a bit. He wants this to be a fair and square. He wants to win this one straight up.
And you can see Lutz's car bellow some smoke out of it after he checked up there for a moment. So it looked like that thing might have loaded up just a little bit, cleaned it out now. It's obviously right up on the pipe. But yeah, a very respectful move for sure.
5 laps left to go here in this one. Can Ryan Mayfield hold on to it, or will Ryan Lutz make his move? Right now, Mayfield's got a couple car lengths on Lutz. Good look there from the Live RC track cam as they come back around down into turn 2.
So we talked about the top 2, a little bit of a gap between the two. Rivkin has managed to hang on to 3rd place. And once again, this battle for the lead is tight again. Cole Ogden and Jared Wiggins inside of the top 5, and a little bit of a stumble again out of Lutz.
And it looks like Lutz may be trying to close the gap up just a little bit here. 3 laps left to go, Ken. This is going to be a barn burner right down to the wire.
Mayfield really has that 180 down to tag that left-hander. Nails it perfectly every time. Some pretty violent holes in there. He's going to have some lap traffic here with a couple to go.
Yeah, this may play a part in that as well. 2 laps now left to go here for these guys as they work their way back around onto the front side of the track.
Again, just nails it perfectly here, and Lutz right behind him, not letting him get away. Wow, I thought Lutz was going to clear the step up there for a moment.
This is it. They're going to get the white flag this time by.
Mayfield with a little bit of breathing room again as Lutz has fallen back just a bit. Keep in mind, it's a 3A main scoring system here to win the overall $5,000.
Here they come into the step-up section one final time through the switchbacks. They drop down. Lutz is pushing so hard right now, and I don't think he's got it unless Mayfield makes a mistake here. Mayfield looks to have a clear win. Down the straight they go, and Ryan Mayfield is your A-Main #1 winner.
How about that? So he wins the qualifier, starts off on the pole here today, and will grab the first A-Main win. It is on. Looks like Scotty Ernst down there with him to go. What a great race, Scotty.
Oh, man, that was absolutely fantastic. Ryan, you've been in battles your entire career. It doesn't get any more intense than that.
Yeah, that was, you can see my hands. It's, the track's so gnarly, man. I mean, we're driving at 110% the whole time. I was just trying to get in a rhythm in the beginning and just find my flow, and Spencer got into me a little bit. I mean, I was a little wide, you know, we're racing for money, so it's all good. I recouped, I recovered, and I just tried to charge my way back to the front, and man, that was intense. Lutz raced me super clean. I raced him clean. You know, it was a good, you know, Spencer gave me the position back after I caught to him, so we're all good there. And my car was good. I made a tire audible for this first race, and I think it was the right move. The car was a little easier to drive. It kind of flowed through all the rocky stuff better. So, but hats off to Ryan Lutz. He drove an awesome race, and it was super fun, but my heart is pounding. I'm shaking up here, and like you said, I've been in, you know, World Championships event, you know, main events my whole life, and that 15 minutes was probably the most intense I've ever driven.
You mentioned in contact with a couple guys, and Ryan there towards the end got in the back over to step up, but he's always a good sport, and he gave you some space.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's kind of what this track is going to produce. You know, when you're driving that hard and you're bouncing off rocks and you're going from dust to, you know, to a groove part of the track, you know, we're in control of the cars, but not all the time. So when you're trying to battle close and be super precise, one of those little dust patches or rocks is just going to kind of throw you into the next guy. So, but yeah, I thought everybody ran, considering we're racing for so much money, I thought everybody ran pretty clean. Like I said, Spencer got into me a little bit, but, you know, I went a little wide. He had a better corner entry, and it just is what it is. But then he gave it back to me once I caught him. So I think hopefully we see that the rest of the day. You know, it's nice when it's good, hard battling, but it's clean and people have respect for each other, because, yeah, we're racing for money, but we also got to race each other next week. So nobody really wants to leave with any sort of fighting or, you know, any issues. But, yeah, it was nice to get that one out of the way. I started first, so you got to capitalize when you can start on pole, and Ryan starts on pole next run. So I think I start third, so it's going to be interesting for sure.
All right, something else that's going to be nice. We present you here this $1,500 check. Step 1 complete for Ryan Mayfield on his way to a possible championship here at Vizins. We got Ryan Lutz here queued up. We're going to get over here, get a few words with Ryan Lutz. Handshakes from hardcore competitors. Ryan, that was absolutely as intense as any race can be.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm disappointed in what I did. You know, the back section's my toughest section. I really had him on the front and the middle, and then he'd always get me on the back sections, and that was my Achilles heel all weekend, and it bit me, but we put on a show, and that's what we're here for. That's going to be super exciting to watch again, and I hope everybody enjoys it.
Now, well, are you going to watch this when you're done and then start critiquing yourself on, I went too wide here, I should have tried this?
Oh, I already know everywhere I blew that track. Made lots of mistakes, but at the same time, you know, we put on a good show. The car was good, and we're going to come back, start on pole for the next one, and give it my all.
That step up in the middle, it's the make or break section of the track. It's so tough. They're in the closing stages of that race. You got into the back of Mayfield, but you're always a good sport. You gave him a little space so he could maintain.
Yeah, absolutely. My car is pretty good right there. That did cost me early in the race. I hit the inside pipe, but I seemed faster than him in that section generally. But yeah, I'm not going to take somebody out, even if we're playing for money, you know. I'd still race clean and do my best.
All right, well done. Well, good luck in the final 2.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there you go, Ryan. Let's see, is Spencer up here? Nope. That's what we got from here. So there you got it from the top 2, Mayfield and Lutz, the Ryan and Ryan show here in main #1.
Thanks a lot, Scotty. What a great battle there for sure. And Spencer Rivkin, 3 different leaders at one point in time inside of that A-main between Rivkin, Lutz, and Mayfield, and they continued to duke it out. Cole Ogden finishing up in 4th, starting off in the 7th position. Mason Fuller, one of the Fuller brothers, starting off in 8th. He's a invite driver. Mason, the older of the 2 brothers, started off 8th and ended up inside of the top 5 as well. A great, great battle.
Yeah, fantastic race there between all of those drivers, and just a small taste of what we got coming. And it's pretty amazing to see Ryan Mayfield, one of the strongest drivers and most fierce competitors out there on the circuit, shaking after a race like that.
That is pretty cool for sure. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back here to MidAmerica Outdoors with more RC action.
This is the ProTech RC LS5. It's a 5-port long-stroke .21 nitro engine, perfect for buggies and great for truck. It features everything you'd expect, like an easy-to-tune, heat-resistant carburetor, turbo plug, large cooling head, and explosive power, all at a price point that blows away the competition. When you need unbelievable torque and gallon-after-gallon reliability, head on over to A Main Hobbies and pick up the ProTech LS5.
All right, once again, we are back here at MidAmerica Outdoors, Jay, Oklahoma. We just had the first of 3 mains for our invite category. Exciting race, man. What a blast it was to call that and watch those guys go at it.
Yeah, Ryan Mayfield comes off the driver's stand shaking. He's got us shaking in here. I mean, that is some of the most intense racing I've seen in a long time.
Good stuff for sure. And one of the guys that was in that battle is Ryan Lutz. We had a chance to meet the Ohio racer a little bit earlier this weekend, sat down with him and picked his brain.
My name is Ryan Lutz. I'm from Medina, Ohio. I've been racing for 30 years. My dad's had a hobby shop pretty much my whole life, so I've always been around RC cars and just picked it up from when I was 7 when I started racing, but I mean I had an RC car since I was 4 in my hands, just driving around the house. The reason I like to keep racing and competing, I've just always been competitive as far as being on the track. I'm probably the least vocal, or you wouldn't ever think of me as competitive when I'm like conversing with somebody else. But if you watch my car on the track, my car is probably one of the most aggressive. And you look up at me on the driver's stand, I'm like calm as can be. But I just like competing. I like trying to win, do the best that I can every time. And I just realized though that if I don't win, that's just what it was that day. You know, I give it 100% of the time, and it falls where it may. When I started and when I was younger, I drove extremely hard. Lots changed in the industry since then. Back then, tires were not as many selection of choices, and They were a lot harder, so the harder compounds allowed us to drift a lot more on a lot of the tracks. Tracks are a lot more prepared now. Tires have gotten way softer, so we can get a lot more grip. So I've kind of adjusted my driving style. I don't drive as hard. It's still in my repertoire. I can bring it out if needed on certain tracks, but in general, I can definitely tone it down as well to be consistent. I think it means a lot. You know, we don't have a lot of events where we're in front of a lot of potential spectators, and especially a lot of the media exposure that we're getting this weekend. And I think it's really important to be able to show that, because RC is a ton of fun, especially for kids getting into it, or fathers with their sons getting into the hobby. It gets the kids off the computer, off the video games, and you're learning engineering, you're learning tons of stuff about the cars, and there's so much to set them up. They can almost set up more things than on a real car. So it's a great thing for children, families, and just it's awesome to be able to showcase that.
Great to have Ryan Lutz out here with us as you document him there. I mean, just an absolute class act. You just saw how he raced as well. Races exactly how he speaks, a great ambassador for the sport. 30 years of racing underneath his belt. He is as good as they come. You see Brandon out there working on our cable cam as well. By the way, Brandon Rohde responsible for this event that is out here, as he worked very closely with MidAmerica Outdoors. We appreciate all the effort. He has been thrashing nonstop since before we got here, so we appreciate everything he does. As our Sportsman e-buggy A main is coming up here, they're getting a little bit of seat time before the clock will start.
Yeah, it looks like our Sportsman e-buggy lineup here: Dylan Bontrager, Brian Johnson, Kenneth Drake, Taylor Janda, Billy Womack, Peyton Lamb, and Steve Collins. They're not the only ones getting some seat time. You can see back there in the background the A-main Try-Me track. All the kids and adults as well getting a chance to watch the RC racing, turn around, and pick up a controller and do it themselves.
Yeah, it's off there to the right-hand side, the A-Main Hobbies Try-Me track. And for those of you that are on the grounds here at MidAmerica Outdoors, we would urge you to come over and take a crack at it, have some fun. There's some demo vehicles over there, and get out here and grab a controller and drive one around. There's a look at the A-Main Hobbies display.
Yeah, we last night we headed up and checked out the shop and all that, and they've got quite a selection of RC cars up there as well. Everything from rock crawlers to RC UTVs to Polaris Razors to the full race cars that that we're running here this weekend as well.
Mike, you've been racing these things for a long time as well. There's a lot of different versions. Is there a preference for you?
I gotta say, probably my two favorite classes, actually. Man, boy, that's tough. If I got it, every time I'm thinking about it, I can just keep saying, back and forth. I'm going to say 8-scale buggy would probably be either nitro or electric. I'm partial to neither one of them. They're both good stuff. Next in line, I would honestly have to say short course trucks. Short course trucks have their popularity goes up and down in the world of RC, but short course trucks, and then of course 10-scale four-wheel drive buggy would probably be my next favorite.
Looks like we are lined up here as you take a look at the competitors in our Sportsman e-buggy category. Of course, once again, these are electric. The clock is ticking down here. We'll start the race in about, well, actually the start time clock was counting up, so it was impossible for me to anticipate when that was going to happen. Clearly the green flag is flown, and we are off on an 8-minute race, and right off the bat, Brian Johnson goes for a big ride. Tough break for him as Dylan Bontrager, as you were talking about before, starting off in the first position, won all 3 qualifiers one day ago. Now, these are the novice drivers. They're getting used to it, and as soon as we say that, Dylan gets upside down. It doesn't look like he will lose the lead, though.
No, Dylan did a fantastic job yesterday throughout qualifying, and he's looking to build off of that and possibly look for an A-main win. The neat part about Dylan, Scotty talked to him yesterday, and it was so cool to hear. He comes from the full-size car world. He's a drag racer, got into RC race. Oh, no, he gets tangled with lap traffic. He is just dropping positions one after another.
Oh, and then gets hit again.
Oh,
and then gets tied up again. Oh, disaster for Dylan, who was just spot on a day ago. Could do no wrong. And, boy, he just got caught up in one catastrophe after another.
Wow, he has got his work cut out for him now, as he has got a lot of work to do here with 6 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. Tell you what, though, if anybody on this track right now in this division can do it, it's going to be Dylan.
Yeah, he was very consistent. Let's go back and take a look at what happened here. Right here, that was the leader. That was Dylan, who got into the back of that slower car and stuck on the wing. They get him going here, gets hit again by another competitor, then spins it around and drives right back into that competitor. I mean, just a tough moment.
Well, we'll see how this all shakes down. That's going to move Brian Johnson, who took, as you said, a wild ride at the start of this race. He is now your race leader. As Johnson comes down the side straight here and back around to the front side. Johnson out front here in this one. Janda in second. Dylan is all the way back up to third, Ken.
Yeah, Dylan, as you talked about before, we saw him a day ago as he would just take his time and slowly pick his way forward in some cases. Again, coming back to the consistency of the driver. He has really been spot on, so we'll see if he can make up the difference here.
Yeah, Billy Womack sitting in the number 4 spot now. Steve Collins in the 5. Drake and Peyton Lamb rounding out your field here in this race with 5:40 left to go. Here's Sportsman, e-buggy, A main.
Yeah, somebody was doing a tube grind, a really nice one there too, right down the straightaway. There was a true 50-50 tube grind. Not where he wanted to be, but he was doing a good job of it.
And it looks like Taylor Janda has taken over the number 1 spot now. So Taylor Janda right there in the yellow and blue coming around on the right-hand side. Janda is now your race leader here in this one.
So the cars are exactly the same as the open e-buggies, just younger drivers, novice drivers, if you will, out here getting used to this. And a good battle about to ensue here. Yeah, you mentioned it before. We've had 3 different leaders in this one as well.
Yeah, it looked like Brian Johnson made a mistake right back there, stuck it in the pipe, so that's going to allow Taylor Janda to stretch out his lead here, as Janda now going to be a little over 2 seconds, it looks like, ahead of Brian Johnson is second. Dylan is 7 seconds back with 4:45 left to go. So it's still not out of the question, though. As we look at the fast laps right now, Dylan's fast lap is a 22.8. He's the only driver to get down the 22-second lap range. Everybody else is 23 seconds and above for their fast laps. If Dylan can put together some 22-second laps consistently, he has a chance to come back and win this.
Yeah, and he's only just a couple of seconds out of second place, but all it takes is one bobble. Roll that thing over, land on your lid, and suddenly the gap is gone.
Yeah, Taylor Janda right now doing a good job out front here. He's got a 4.6-second lead on Brian Johnson, but here he comes up on traffic. Traffic is going to be a difficult one as he works his way around down onto the front straight now.
Nice job there, right underneath, makes a good pass. One of those moments where you can back off just a little bit and make sure that you don't make any mistakes, but if you back off too much, they're going to close the gap on you quickly.
100%.
Oh, and right there, that's what we're talking about. Just those small moments right there, that's a half a second.
Here comes Janda down around the front side here. This would be a big win for Taylor Janda if he can hold on to this one. Brian Johnson still in the 2 spot, Dylan in the 3 spot. Dylan has closed the gap up a bit on second. He's only 3.7 seconds back from Brian Johnson in second.
Total time left here, just under 3.5 minutes for this 8-minute main. That's a check up just a little bit, gets out there by the pipe, running a little bit of a wide line, but staying off the tube. Nice setup there. Here we come to the step up and takes it nice and easy over that step up. We saw these guys, at least in the E-class, a number of them were able to clear the step up early on in the weekend, but now the face of it has been eaten up a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten progressively worse and worse as far as a takeoff that's going to allow you to cleanly make it over the top. They may get lucky every once in a while, but I think the safest line right now is what Taylor Janda is doing right there, just kind of bouncing up and over the face of it.
And Mike, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here, but I really feel like Taylor Janda backed off just a little bit and now is actually going faster. Just consistent lap after lap, took some of that pressure off, backed off, isn't running on that ragged edge, and is being very, very consistent.
Absolutely. He looks very smooth right now. It looks like at this point he's got no real pressure on him as Brian Johnson is 3.8 seconds back with 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to go. And I think you're right. I think the old saying of slower is faster definitely applies to this racetrack and especially for this division.
Yeah, and he just set quick lap of the race, 22.65. That's the first time anybody other than Dylan has had quick lap out here through yesterday.
Yeah, Taylor is doing a fantastic job here, wheeling that buggy around, making his way through traffic. He's being very patient, and now we look here. You can see Brian Johnson in the number 2 spot. Dylan still in that 3 spot, just a ways back from him here.
And Brian really hasn't closed the gap up, still 4 seconds back.
Minute 35 left to go here for these drivers as Johnson working his way through the infield section. He's going to be coming up on, oh, Johnson makes a mistake there. That is exactly what Dylan needs if Dylan wants to take over that number 2 spot with only a minute 25 left to go.
Yeah, and I'm sure Dylan is going to be sick after a perfect day one day ago, and just really a lot of that action that hung him out was out of his control.
It really was, and yeah, that's definitely going to make for a rough finish to this one if he's not able to work his way up. And with only a minute 10 left to go, things right now are looking all in Taylor Janda's favor.
And Brian Johnson here.
Yes, we're looking at Brian Johnson here in the number 2 spot.
Beautiful looking car there as he is settled in as well after that bobble. Just opened up that gap a bit more to Taylor Janda. Thought Dylan might get up there to apply some pressure. We've not seen him get quite that close just yet.
Here's your race leader right here, Taylor Janda, as he works his way back around here. Janda driving the TLR buggy. Yellow and blue paint job.
Counting it down, 25 seconds left inside of this A main. And Taylor, it's fun to watch these people develop. And I feel like we really watched Taylor Janda grow in this race alone. Has laid down quick lap of the race, has really strung together a lot of very consistent laps here from midway point on, maybe from the beginning on if we had a chance to look at the whole thing again. But Taylor Janda has done a fabulous job as the clock counts down to 0.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a rough start in qualifying yesterday. Qualified 4th overall, and now he finds himself out front. Time has expired here for Taylor Janda as he comes over the back double one time. You see, takes it nice and easy. Your Sportsman e-buggy A-main winner, Taylor Janda, has done it. Doing some victory donuts there at the end of the front straight. Janda takes the win. Brian Johnson taking the number 2 spot. Dylan Bontrager, your top qualifier, finishes up in 3rd.
Great job there for Taylor Janda. Brian Johnson in 2nd. Dylan Bontrager, unfortunately for him, man, just got caught up in a mess on that step up. First got hung up on the wing of a car that was in front of him, a lapped car, and it just went from bad to worse after that. But a solid player. He's been a great competitor all weekend. Once again, let's go back to Scotty.
All right, thank you very much. We're here with your champion, Mr. Janda. That was a fantastic run. It took you a little time from the 4th starting spot, but you were patient there at the start. It came to you, and you had a great finish.
Yeah, thank you. It was a rough weekend. Struggled with tires all weekend, getting traction. Made some adjustments this morning, and the car felt really good. The track is amazing. This facility is amazing. And, yeah, it was a lot of fun out there. Trying to be conservative, that was a big thing. Not wreck.
It's very rare you get a big race that's not too far from your home. You know, being from Tulsa, that's an easy drive for you.
Oh, yeah, only an hour and a half away. Only an hour and a half. It was great.
When you saw this race be announced and things like that, and you say, hey, they're going to have a Sportsman division, what really made you want to take part?
The Sportsman division it felt my comfortability. You know, these guys are, Dylan, these guys are fast, and, I felt more comfortable getting into this class.
Well, congratulations on a great win. Well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. Let's get second spot. We have Brian Johnson. We talked to Brian earlier. We'll get him again. So, Brian, second place. When we talked last time, you're wearing 2 hats here. You know, you're running the tech, you're helping the track crew and stuff like that, but you're able to get a little bit of racing in also.
Oh, yes. It's kind of fun, a little tiring, nice heat out here. So, but yeah, just back and forth, doing tech, water, race. Good time.
What do you take back from this experience now, being at this amazing facility here, finally putting RC as a major event at a motorsports event?
Oh, I think it's awesome. Get the masses out here, let everyone know what we do, how fun it is. Hopefully next year we'll have a larger crowd out here, and I think it's going to be a great event from here on out.
Well, thanks for all you do behind the scenes, and glad you did well here in the race.
Right, thank you.
All right, congratulations. Let's get Dylan over here. Dylan Bontrager, we had 3 talks with him yesterday. This is not the talk we were hoping to have, but anything can happen in racing. Take us through it. You had a good start and then just had a bit of trouble.
I got into it with a lap car and just a little bit of terrible marshalling from guys, just standing there looking at stuff instead of paying attention to the race, but it happens. So we'll regroup and go to the next one.
There you go. You were able to come back, save third. Granted, it's not standing on top of the podium, but that's still a little bit. A TQ and a third.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad for my first big race, so we'll learn from it and move on.
All right, well, thanks for coming and being part of it, and well done this weekend.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
There you go, guys. That's here from the Sportsman, first, second, and third. Dylan, you can see, is a little bit saddened after a dominating day yesterday, but it's the ups and downs of racing, whether it be full scale or RC, it's all the same.
Yeah, it stings, no doubt, after the day that he had yesterday, but nonetheless a great show, and I think Taylor Janda really did a spectacular job as well. So once again, we'll take a quick break here. We're going to bring some of our sponsors' commercials to you, and we will be right back on the other side.
Up next, race number 4. Look at e-buggy. Okay.
No matter what, it's never an easy event, and it never will be, and that's what makes King of the Hammers King of the Hammers. Tire choice is everything. I mean, to have a tire that's reliable and consistent and drives well out in the desert, but yet when we get to these crazy rock sections, still has grip and performs, and we can hit these sharp, jagged edge rocks and not have a problem, is what we need. And the Rockzillas definitely are second to none when it comes to the UTV tires. And it just speaks traction. It's got big lugs hanging off the side. It's got big lugs down the side of the sidewall of the tire. If you're gonna look for something that makes traction and is gonna grip in rocks and dirt and everything, you look at a Rockzilla and go, man, that thing looks like it's gonna do the job right there.
Your usual, sir?
Please. The sound of a 1,000cc turbo engine cranking at 8,000 RPMs just got better. HMF, the official sound of the off-road.
Here we are, 20 years later, still making horsepower, still increasing performance, and still making that official off-road sound. Now, we're stretching our strengths and reaching out for more, utilizing our experience with the strength of American steel to fabricate an entire line of HMF equipment designed to protect your ATV or side-by-side so you can stay focused on what's ahead. Bumpers, exo-guards, racks, and accessories. HMF off-road equipment improves strength, expands capabilities, and extends reinforcement so you're prepared to get the job done. HMF, equipped to perform.
Ready for any challenge. Maxxis tires can handle even the most punishing off-road conditions. Maxxis tires. Tread victoriously.
Why do racers from around the world shop at amain.com Performance Sports and Hobbies? Because winners and world champions shop with the best. We have the hottest new racing kits on the market and the parts and accessories you need to make it to the A-Main. Your competitors already shop with us, shouldn't you? Find out why we're the world's #1 source for the gear you need to make it to the podium. Join the race. Log on to amain.com today. amain.com.
Upgrading. It's what we do. So upgrading is what we did. Introducing the IQ equipment lineup powered by HMF. Designed for the most adventurous side-by-sides in the world, IQ equipment has the strength to tackle the off-road head-on. Bolt-on American manufactured steel. Engineered to increase strength, durability, and protection so you're equipped to handle the most extreme performance. When you're ripping through the desert at full throttle, or tearing through some of the most brutal terrain in the world, you're going to need equipment that keeps you moving at a high level. Because when you have the performance and you have the protection, you then have the confidence to actively pursue your passions just as freedom was intended to be. HMF, equipped to perform.
Another beautiful but warm day here at MidAmerica Outdoors, Oklahoma. It's where it's all going down. RC Racing at Visions Off-Road, presented by A-Main Hobbies. Ken Stout, Mike Garrison, Scotty Ernst calling all the action for you. We've been busy here already. We had an open e-buggy B-Main. We had our Invite A-Main #1 of 3, and we just had our Sportsman e-buggy A-Main. So 3 of them in the books here. We will have our open e-buggy A-Main coming up here in just a few moments. So another beautiful day here. We'll hand out some money for this one, Mike. A G-note to the top dog here.
Yeah, this is going to be an exciting race as well because a lot of these drivers are also in that Nitro Invite class. So they're using this E-class as a little bit of extra track time, trying to get a feel for it. There you see Jared Tebow on the stand, Tanner Denny, Ty Tessman. Not to mention we saw Mason Fuller. He was your top qualifier for Open E-Buggy here after qualifying yesterday. And Mason did a fantastic job putting that HV Racing buggy on top of the field in all 3 rounds. And Ryan Mayfield be starting 3rd. Of course, we got Ryan Havitas, Jared Wiggins, and Ryan Lutz, just to name a few. So again, these guys going to get a little extra track time.
So Ty Tessman, speaking of him, he had a really solid day one day ago, and we had a chance to sit down and get to know Ty a little bit better as well.
My name is Ty Tessman, and I'm from Seven Persons, Alberta, Canada. I've been racing for 17 years, and it started with my grandma bought me a car from a department store, and then we got a hobby grade car after that one broke. Then my parents started a club in our local town, and just kind of snowballed from there. We went to all Canadian races, then eventually went to American races, and figured out how fast we had to be, and then kind of just worked at it from there. And then it's just kind of gained sponsors and gained pace, and now we're here today. I think it's just, anything could happen. Like, we're in practice and we're going around, and all of a sudden you hit a rock and your car flies off the track. So even if you hit the same spot every time, it could be your lucky time to hit that rock and shoot off the track. So I think the racing is so close and the times are so close that it's probably going to come down to who doesn't hit this certain rock that comes out of the track, or there's holes developing constantly. Luckily, we're all racing against each other in the same heat, so it's not like you're racing 30 minutes apart from each other. So at least we're all on the same track together, but it's definitely going to be a bit of a luck factor and just kind of chaos, I think, in some of the races because of the track and how it's deteriorating and the rocks that are coming up. I think it means a lot to the RC community because of how big of an off-road event it is, and that everybody's in the same mentality of off-road racing and competing, whether you're riding side-by-sides, the dirt bikes, the rock crawling trucks, whatever it is, you all kind of have a racing desire and competing desire that I think if they come over and see RC, it's a lot bigger chance for them to maybe start RC or kind of to get out, especially being on TV. It's just something that really I think the RC community needs to get their name out there, because we've been racing in front of each other for the last 15, 20 years, and I don't know if it's really helped a whole lot, but this kind of racing where you're televised or at a big event is really what we need to, I think, to make the next step in RC to really grow the hobby.
And, of course, Ty Tessman, a world champ, as you documented there, racing some 17 years, second at the Southern Indoor Champ in Pro Electric Buggy here this year. Third podium also at DNC, second Pro Nitro Truck. I mean, he's a guy that can get it done. He had a really good day out here one day ago. Finished up 9th in the first A main for the invite qualifier, I should say, the first qualifier, then 6th, and then won the final qualifier. So Ty really put it together there at the end. His father, Gord, really switched on. Those guys raced together. Really intense, very passionate father there about this. Really switched on when it comes to building the engines as well. So they love what they do for sure, as the drivers have made their way up there to the top where they'll control those vehicles. We take a look at that beautiful American flag. It is a big one here at MidAmerica Outdoors. And Mike, you talked about some of the competitors inside of this open e-buggy category. They got a lot of seat time here, and the entire not the entire field, but the bulk of the field are the invite drivers.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then, like I say, as these guys have mentioned over and over, that the e-buggy and the nitro buggy, there's very close in similarities. So they're taking a little bit of setup, and trying some things. And this is the main event, so obviously they want to win this, and there's some money on the line. $1,000 to the winner, $600 to second place, and $400 to third place. So they're not going to be trying as much as they did in qualifying, but we saw a lot of them in the qualifying. That was when they tried their tires, when they changed shock oil, when they changed diff oil. That kind of thing was with the e-buggy, and then they transitioned that over to the nitro buggy. So they entered this class not only for a chance to win a little extra money, but it's also a little extra track time and to make those subtle changes.
Good look there at Pit Road, which has thrown these guys some curveballs here this weekend as well. Mechanics needing to pay attention to what they're doing there to not get their fingers caught in those holes from time to time. It happens extremely fast, as we documented in that invite race, where they come in and make a pit stop in 5 to 6 seconds. So whenever they're in the midst of it, it is all in. And certainly doesn't take much as they try to pick those cars up. They are very low to the ground. So tell the guys to be careful down there and hope nobody gets injured. There's a look at some of the players, our invite guys. Speaking of Tebow, we saw him over there as well. There's young 10-year-old Pheelong Wen, who bumped up into the back of the invitational categories. He did a great job in the open nitro buggy category in qualifying one day ago.
Yeah, and here's a good look at our grid lineup here for Open e-buggy. Mason Fuller will be starting in that number 1 position. Ty Tessman will be starting second. Ryan Mayfield third, followed up by Ryan Pavitas, Jared Wiggins, Jared Tebow, Ryan Lutz, Cole Ogden, Ethan Mechanic, and Spencer Rivkin for your top 10 starting spots. And then, of course, Phelong wins, Seth Van Dalen, Caden Fuller, Camden Lime, and Tanner Denny. Of course, Caden Fuller, Camden Lime, and Tanner Denny, all your bump-up drivers from our B main earlier this morning. Going to make a full 15-car field here for this one.
And you'll see some of them sitting off to the side. Keep in mind, these are battery-operated, and with an 8-minute-long main, they're going to use up pretty much all the power inside of those batteries. As you talked about, they don't just go dead, they'll slowly start to lose power. So those guys might put a couple corners in, just get maybe one lap, and then pull it over and sit there so they have max battery power for this full 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's a key to this is they definitely don't want to start losing power towards the end of the race, and that's typically when you need to turn it up and make sure you're on your game is towards the end, and that's not when you want your car to be slowing down. Good
look at the, I was just going to say, at the controllers as well, and watch what the guys are doing there. They pull the trigger back to accelerate, of course. They push it forward to brake or slow the cars down, and then, of course, there's a wheel on the opposite side that's difficult to see from that angle where they will steer it.
And you can see just subtle movements and how fast these guys react and the inputs that they're putting in on these radios. It's a work of art to watch these guys drive these cars and what they can do with them. It's pretty amazing. There you see Ty Tessman. He was talking about yesterday the headsets for the nitro pitting. He also wears them in the electric races as well to still communicate with his dad. And as you mentioned, bringing the spotter aspect into the RC racing world that you have in the full-size car world. And Ty taking full advantage of that even when they're not making pit stops, wearing them here in the E-race.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's a progression of RC racing as those guys start to adapt to. Quite honestly, I'm surprised it hasn't played a larger role here a little bit earlier. There's Phelong Wen, the 10-year-old, just one step over there as well. Has had a great weekend. I mean, every time he's been out here, he's been very fast. Unfortunately, had some engine issues a day ago in the nitro category. We are lined up here. This is the Open e-buggy A main, 8 minutes in length. As everybody's ready to go, $1,000 on the line to the winner, $600 to second place, and $400 to third place. They'll go by turn number 1. They'll make a full loop here, come back by that start-finish at the other end, and then make that 180 right there that we're looking at. We are on.
Well, off and underway here. A good clean start here for these drivers. Early on, Mason Fuller leading the way. He's got Ty Tessman right there behind him. Tessman, look over the inside. It's only lap 1. Tessman probably had the opportunity to stick it in there, but he checked up, let him hold on to it there as they work their way around here.
Somebody going for a tumble back in there. For the left-hander there, I would call it turn number 4. Oh,
wow.
And Tessman able to dodge a bullet right there.
Fuller making a little bit of mistake. Tessman, like you say, dodging the bullet, making his mistake there as well. Ryan Mayfield in the number 3 spot. Looked like Mayfield was up on 2 wheels. Pavitas in the number 4 spot.
How about this, man? I mean, some real players out here inside of this category as well. It's been a lot of fun to watch. Let's go back and take another look at what happened here.
Yeah, look at this instant replay. You see Fuller, he lands, bounces. And then Tessman actually landed on the front of Fuller's car there, but both of them were able to save it and get back going once again. And now Ty Tessman taking over the number 1 spot, the Team X-Ray driver from Canada, leading us out here in the purple and white. Fuller dropping back to the number 2 spot. Ryan Pavitas has now made a move on Mayfield up into 3rd. Mayfield in 4th and Ryan Lutz in 5th.
And we heard that Ryan Pavitas is the driver that did cut his finger a little bit earlier in the day. Not the trigger finger, but trigger hand. So dealing with a bit of an injury here as he tries to get his mind off of that and drive this car so far, having a good run here up into 3rd place. Struggled a little bit. He was deep in the field in the Invitational A-Main.
Well, here they come back around. Looks like Mayfield now back up to the number 3 spot as he's chasing down Caden Fuller. Mayfield already took the Invite Nitro Buggy A-Main number 1 win. He's looking for a little more cash here in e-buggy.
And again, everybody trying to do the best they can with that step up. It has been a difficult area for everyone.
And it looked like in the background there, Ryan Mayfield, I do believe, went tumbling. So that's going to drop him down in the field a bit. Pavitas back up at the number 3 spot now. Ryan Lutz in 4th. Meanwhile, Ty Tessman, he's got no idea the chaos going on behind him as he is just cruising out front here in this one, trying to get away from Mason Fuller, but Mason not letting him out of his sights right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's right there to capitalize, and as you can see, though, and speaking of that, he gets in a little bit of trouble. So Mason Fuller trying to gather that one back up. Ryan Lutz trying to take advantage of it, not able to get by him, but he is not far back either.
We talked about the similarities between the nitro cars and the electric cars, and I got to say they are very similar, but it seems to me Mason Fuller feels a little more comfortable this weekend with his electric car than he does the nitro car. He's been driving great in both, but the E-car, he's really excelled here.
Right back out front with Ty Tessman. Ty Tessman now with a lot of breathing room, take a little bit of the pressure off. These guys can maintain a high level of pace and the consistency. That is the difference between the pros and just the open racers, if you will.
Yeah, here they come. Here comes Ty Tessman back around right now. Fastest lap on this racetrack is Camden Lime at 20.9. So a quick lap for him. Ty Tessman's fastest lap is a 21 flat, 1/10 of a second slower, but like you say, that consistency is where it comes into play.
And again, you can see how gnarly this track is. Oh, matter of fact, we heard Mayfield talk about it, at the end of his race. It is brutal. You can see right there that Ty Tessman gets up on the bike for just a moment, sets it back down. But you just don't know what curveball this track is going to throw you, and it's got a bunch of them.
Right now, Ty Tessman just trying to work his way into some traffic here, in and out, and with 15 cars on this track, there's a lot of traffic to deal with, and so far we've seen everybody play pretty well together. However, one bobble by somebody, unintentional of course, could even cost a leader like this. Oh, Tessman goes upside down.
And the leader in trouble just that quickly. That's what we were talking about before, halfway through this A main.
Yeah, Mason Fuller taking the lead back over right now. And as you had mentioned, Ken, the track throwing curveballs, and that was definitely a curveball right there.
Another look at it right there. You see what happened, and yeah, I mean, he just landed a little bit short. Rebound vicious there on the dampers. When you do that, not able to soak it all up, bounce the car right back up and on its lid.
So Mason Fuller back to the front here in this one. Ty Tessman in the number 2 spot now. Ryan Pavidis in the 3 spot. Ryan Lutz in the 4 spot. Mayfield was up in that mix as well there just before this lap. Not sure what happened to Mayfield. He must have had another mistake as he drops back to the number 7 spot.
Pavidis just a couple of seconds back there behind Tessman, who's in second. Mason Fuller now back out front. And right underneath a lapped car.
Fuller right now with a 1.7 second lead. That is only one crash that could separate Fuller and Tessman. So it's still anybody's race at this point with 2:55 left to go here in open e-buggy A main.
Putting together some nice laps here. Now somebody right behind him just ate the inside of that turn.
I believe that may have been Camden Lime, if I'm not mistaken. And look at these fast laps now. 20.6 for Ryan Lutz. Lutz is sitting in 7th. We saw him give Ryan Mayfield a run for his money there in the open Nitro Buggy invite race. And now Lutz with a 20.6. That's a fast lap on this rough under track. Unfortunately, still in that number 7 spot.
And Fuller, our leader, starting off on the pole as well. Ty Tessman, second place, started off in second. However, Spencer Rivkin started off in 10th, has worked his way into the top 3. So a nice move for him through some very tough players.
We'll see if Spencer Rivkin, with 2 minutes left to go, can make his move on Ty Tessman and close that gap up as well. Mason Fuller right now just trying to keep this car on all fours. HB Racing driver out of Iowa. The whole Fuller family here this weekend. Looking here. Rivkin right now working his way through the switchbacks.
Mason Fuller ranked 9th in the world. The young gun won the Psycho Nitro Blast in Pro Electric Buggy. Was 3rd in the off-road Fuel Roar Nats. Can certainly get it done, but like you said before, very comfortable here with these electric cars.
Yeah, now take a look here at Ryan Pavidis. We just saw Spencer Rivkin make a big mistake there, moving Ryan Mayfield back up at the number 4 spot. So Mayfield is now putting the pressure on Pavidis. Take a look at this instant replay. Watch here what happens to Spencer Rivkin. Rivkin up and over.
Yeah, that's when
tumbles.
Tessman got, that was Tessman that was on the inside of the tube. I said somebody went for a ride, and it was Tessman who got on the inside of the tube there and went for a ride. Was not Tessman. Who was it?
That was Spencer Rivkin right there in that
okay.
instant replay there, taking a tumble.
Boom, and a little more contact right there launches him out to the outside wall, if you will.
And a 3-way battle now. We've got Ryan Pavidis Ryan Mayfield and Spencer Rivkin all right there together. Pavitas tumbles. Mayfield at the inside. Rivkin and Mayfield get together now. Jared Wiggins getting caught up in the mix now. Another car going upside down. Unbelievable. Spencer Rivkin going to come out of this one, I do believe, in the number 3 spot. And now we've got lap traffic. Here's Jared Tebow in the mix. Caden Fuller in the mix. 25 seconds to go. What is happening here in Open e-buggy?
I'm telling you, that step up has wreaked some havoc on the absolute best in the business here. Somehow Fuller's still out front. Man, what a lot of action right there that took place, and that's what we talk about. 10 seconds left inside of the same main. See if we can see this one again.
So there you see Rivkin and Mayfield. They get together. Mayfield comes backwards. Rivkin kind of cut the pipe there, hopped across the track. I don't know if that one's going to fly. We'll have to, we'll let the referees decide on that one. That cut a little corner section out as they come back around. You saw that was just total carnage right there. And Mayfield getting the short end of the stick. He's back in the number 9 spot on this one. And time has expired. Mason Fuller working his way around here. He is going to be your A-Main Open e-buggy winner. He has done it. Your top qualifier and winner, and $1,000 richer.
Yeah, exciting stuff there for sure. I would argue, by the way, if they wanted to ding me for that, I would say, well, I spent way more time crashing than I made up cutting the corner, but sometimes it's just the way it shakes out. But how about Mason Fuller? Really does a nice job right here, puts another win in the column for him here in 2022. Excellent effort. Ty Tessman and Spencer Rivkin will end up inside of the top 3. Ryan Pavitas and Caden Fuller. How about that? The Fuller brothers inside of the top 5.
So that means this weekend alone, Caden Fuller won $1,000 yesterday for bumping up in the from the Open Nitro into the Invite, and now Mason Fuller wins $1,000 for winning the Open e-buggy. This is a money weekend for the Fuller family. This is a trip worth taking. That's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be a nice ride home, right?
Yes, it sure will.
Smiles all around for sure. And we'll get it back over to Scotty. Great run.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to start out with Spencer Rivkin, 3rd spot. We didn't get a chance to talk to you in Open, but you got 2 threes here in the first main of Opening here in e-buggy.
Yeah, it's been a pretty rough week so far for me. The cars have been pretty good today. They were pretty good at the end of yesterday. Pretty hardcore battling out there. Me and Ryan got into it a couple times out there, but I talked to him and he said it was good racing. So, yeah, it's tough. I started 10th in e-buggy. And yeah, if I'm in a spot for a podium, it's going to be game on for sure, especially starting 10th. Everyone out there is super fast, and yeah, it's crazy.
You're winning a few $100 here in electric buggy, still in the fight, absolutely, for the overall and Open buggy. But this format and this event at this facility is just amazing. And what has been your experience?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Brandon and the Live RC crew, the Dirt crew, and Jimmy Babcock, and obviously you, Scotty, being here makes it much more of a, much more an enjoyable event because you guys all have the experience. You guys want the best for the industry, and you can definitely see it with the broadcast crew, the timing loop, and the guys that are behind the scenes putting it all together for us drivers. So we appreciate you guys putting it on. It's been a great experience. Not that many entries, but it's been good. We have had a lot of track time. And I can't really complain. I'm sure we'll be back next year.
Well done, and congratulations on 2 thirds, and best of luck in the rest of the mains.
Thanks.
All right, let's get Ty Tessman over here. Ty, come on over here. We've had a few chats so far. Now you got a few $100. I don't know what that is in Canadian, but still, it's some money in the pocket.
Yeah, for sure. My car was, it was awesome the whole time again. Tires were working good again now that the sun come out. It was working a little better than the invite round. But just kind of, it just sucks that I landed on a rock and flipped over. I mean, that's kind of bad for when a race is determined on that. I'm not trying to take anything away from Mason because he drove awesome the rest of the race. Obviously, didn't make any mistakes and ran around. But I think it's going to happen more and more through the day as we see more battles and stuff like that, kind of crappy stuff happening. But it is racing, and just kind of got to do your best and make your best out of situations. But yeah, I'm just happy with how the car's working. I'm going to make some changes to the Nitro that I found on the e-buggy, and hopefully we can have a good second A-main in the invite class.
All right. Best of luck. Good luck in the next 2.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get Mason Fuller up here. We've had lots of chats with him so far this weekend. And that TQ, start on pole, battle it out, bring home the W. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was an awesome race. Started out in pole and then lost the lead 2 minutes in. And then Tess made a little mistake and then got back in the lead and never looked back, really.
when you think of now playing, as you're standing here waiting for this event, you're obviously playing it back through. You're battling with the world champ Ty Tessman. What are those feelings?
Yeah, there was a lot of Rivkin, Tessman, Mayfield. They're all world champs, so it's pretty awesome to race with them. So.
We rewind, you and I, a year and a half ago. Remember the first interview we had when you were podium, few words were spoken, but now this is becoming a regular thing. You have to be proud of you and your family's year of accomplishments, especially over the last 2 years.
Yeah, starting to get more interviews, starting to get a little better at it, So, yeah, it's been fun.
Well, we got one more thing for you here. We got a big old check for $1,000. Congratulations, Mason Fuller, $1,000 in his pocket, the winner of Open e-buggy here at Visions Off-Road.
He's like, yeah, man, the interviews are good, but that check is better. You hand me one of these every time we do an interview, man, and I'm here.
Absolutely. I think those interviews would go real smooth if they offer those $1,000 checks for each one.
Excellent stuff. All right, once again, we'll take a quick break here, and we'll be right back. By the way, the A-main for the invites, number 2, is coming up next.
This is the ProTech RC LS5. It's a 5-port long-stroke .21 nitro engine, perfect for buggies and great for truck. It features everything you'd expect, like an easy-to-tune, heat-resistant carburetor, turbo plug, large cooling head, and explosive power, all at a price point that blows away the competition. When you need unbelievable torque and gallon-after-gallon reliability, head on over to A-Main Hobbies and pick up the ProTech LS5.
And we're back here at MidAmerica Outdoors. Jay, Oklahoma is where it's all going down here for the RC Racing at Visions Off-Road presented by A-Main Hobbies. Good look at the racetrack. It'll be busy here in just a few moments. In the meantime, we have a driver here from Georgia. His name is Cole Ogden, and we had a chance to get him to get to go. I can't talk today. What's the deal, man? I'm stumbling like on the two-step.
It's the heat.
It's the heat, but we're in the AC. I can't even take that as an excuse. So once again, we'll take this take 3. Cole Ogden out of Georgia. We had a chance to get to know him a little bit better earlier this weekend.
Cole Ogden from Atlanta, Georgia. It means a lot. I mean, to be accepted into this race, I mean, it's the first year it's happened. It's a lot of money on the line. And to be recognized, you know, to be in the invite class amongst, you know, some pretty hefty guys is pretty cool. I've been racing. I mean, I had a remote in my hand when I was probably 6. But I hit it off and on, you know, 6 to, you know, probably 12, 13, 14. And then had a couple breaks here and there. And then kind of got back into it after high school, kind of got a job, realized like, oh, we're good at racing, so let's try our hand. And it worked out, you know, like here I am. But my dad actually got me into it a long time ago. So. What keeps me motivated is probably just the people at the track. And being in the position I am now, like I'm a pro, you know, racer, and I can win, you know, just about any race that there is. Any of us can win at any time. But the biggest thing is, you know, like I'm in a position now where I'm kind of like, we have a bunch of young guys up and coming, and helping them is really cool, you know, like seeing how they can benefit or, you know, gain time here or there or anything, you know, even wrenching. It's just cool, you know, you can help and kind of prevent them from making the mistakes that I made, you know, so it just works. It's cool. I like helping them. The track is tricky. The track is very, very tricky. There's a bunch of little rocks, big rocks, boulders. It's definitely tricky. It's a lot trickier than any of the other tracks that we've been to, even this year. I would probably relate it close to like the Roar Nationals this year at Adobe, just because like the size and like the bumps and it's pretty crazy. It should make the racing pretty hectic, but good.
So great to have Cole Ogden with us here for sure, ranked 16th in the world and off to a good start here in 2022. Great to have him out here with us. Grabbed a podium at the DNC and Pro Electric Buggy, so he's a player for sure and joined up there with HB Racing. We wish him the best of luck here. A couple more A-mains for him inside of the invite category. Another player inside of that invite category comes out of Texas. His name is Jared Wiggins, and we also got to know him just a bit better.
Hi, I'm Jared Wiggins, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. I would say what motivates me is the competitiveness. The sport's ever-changing. There's so many good drivers and so many people that can win the race. There's not like, you don't really ever get stuck somewhere. There's always progress to be made, things to figure out, and you know, ultimately people to try and beat. So that kind of constant progression is really exciting and keeps you working hard and into it. Because, you know, when you get into it, you're just doing it for fun and just enjoying it, you know, racing your RC car. But being able to do this as a job now, it's definitely changed because there's a little bit more stress involved. You know, you want to do well, you need to do well. You have to represent your sponsors well, be professional, and, you know, really enjoy that part of it. So there's a little more stress, but it's welcome stress. And it's always a good time at the track. Still enjoying it, still like driving, always excited for the next race. I try not to take too many new things to a race because, you know, unless it's really tested over and over, you never know quite how stuff's gonna feel and drive, and you need your stuff to be comfortable and confident racing at a high level. So we try not to do anything new for the races if we can avoid it and just stick with the tested and true. I think it means a lot to the RC community just to try and get new people in, especially since the motorsports going on in the event. Besides RC, like there's a lot of crossover with people who get into RC that usually have some sort of motocross or other racing background. And I think just giving them the extra step of exposure where they can see what's going on and see how cool it is, I think that's really going to help the industry in general and should be really successful.
And great to have the Wizard out here with us as well. Another talented driver, ranked a little bit lower whenever you talk about the top 10 guys. But to be ranked 35th in the world, there's a lot of people in the world last time I checked. So and a lot of them that compete at a high level of RC cars. So to be in that top 50 even is very impressive, and we wish him the best of luck as well. He'll be out here battling. We'll see how it goes. So great to have Jared Wiggins with us here out of Texas. Finished up second in the second qualifier a day ago, so he had a really good run there in that qualifier, and consequently that is where he will start off this second A main. He will start off second, so he'll have a real solid shot at winning $1,500 there, and he finished up ninth in that third qualifier. So we had a couple of races here that happened earlier this weekend, and as you can see there, Ethan McKinnick, one of those guys that picked up a grand and bumped up into the back of the invite category.
He sure did. He put in a fantastic run. He worked hard. He kept consistent, and it's one thing these guys are used to, just the shooting to make it up into the top pro class and be run with those guys, and they're not even worried about a money or trophy or anything like that. So to add $1,000 to it, I mean, that's just icing on the cake for these guys.
Yeah, so during our qualifiers, if you have not heard us talk about it just yet, during our qualifiers one day ago, we did have 3 of the open Nitro buggy qualifying sessions, and the winner from each one of those sessions, as you watch some of the hill climb action that took place a day ago as well, just out behind the RC track. But during those 3 open buggy Nitro qualifying sessions, the winner from each one of those sessions picked up $1,000 and the right to bump up into the invite class.
Yeah, and I can tell you that $1,000 will go a long way in RC compared to what it will for those hill climb guys right there. So
good chance they spent $1,000 when they flipped it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. There you see a good shot there. Fee Long wins car. Fee, another one of those drivers, 10 years old, the youngest competitor here this weekend. And he was a driver that we saw starting out only a year or two ago in the Sportsman division, and now finds himself up there with the pro. Talking about Jared Wiggins, we got his better half there, Katie Roxbury, pitting for him. She does a fantastic job, some of the fastest pit stops we've seen this weekend, and she's out there racing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. In fact, the lady mechanics one day ago during qualifying in the first session both of them had the quickest pit stops down in the low 5 second range. So solid effort there out of the girls that are here on the property as well. And as you talked about, Katie also doing some racing and up at the top of the charts there. I mean, it's not like she was wandering around in the back. She was first or second nearly the entire time.
Yeah, she was right there in the mix. And, so hats off to those ladies. Maddie Ostad pitting for Seth Van Dalen, and Katie Roxbury there pitting for Jared Wiggins.
Look at the track there, as you can see. No drivers up there in the driver's stand just yet. And what has happened here is we had matter of fact, the bulk of the field in our open e-buggy category in the A main, those were invite drivers. So they just finished up. So they come back over, and there's a lot of preparation that goes on. Hey, how about that? They put us on camera. That's a tough day. Sorry, guys. We were not expecting that. So Ken Stout here, and, of course, Mike Garrison sitting right alongside. But as we talked about before, there's a lot of maintenance, Mike, that goes on to these cars. They maintenance those diffs after every session, certainly every day. So they'll come back in there. Of course, the tire maintenance, the only way to get one off is to cut it off. You've got to get the foam insert, put it back on. You have to glue it back on. There's a lot that has to happen, and it takes these guys a bit of time.
Yeah, these guys, they're working around the clock. It's not just the hard work that they're putting in on the track. They got to put in a lot of hard work off the track as well. And it was funny you mentioned that, because last night we stole Ryan Mayfield's car for just a short time to do a quick shoot with it. And as soon as we got done, he said, "Hey, are you done with that? I got to rebuild that car." And he literally, before we had turned around and handed it back to him, he had the front end off, the rear end off. He was changing diffs, rebuilding shocks, from front to back, top to bottom. They do a lot of work on these cars in between races.
And I don't remember who it was. It might have been Ryan Lutz. One of the guys was talking about the shock towers. He wishes he had a different size shock tower. So all the adjustability that we talk about, those guys want to come back and make those adjustments. Maybe they're not happy with the damper setting, or maybe they want to change an oil viscosity in one of those diffs, as you talked about. We also heard the guys talking about sway bars and roll centers as well. So everything that they're taking a look at, of course, a number of tire options, and everybody has really been playing with those options out here on this track.
Yeah, and like you say, Ryan Lutz had mentioned that he came to this track and wasn't for sure exactly what the size of the track would have been, and he had a lightweight setup that he's got at home. So he was trying to match that lightweight setup, so he was changing, as far as you were saying, the shock tower heights, the different settings and stuff, trying to match that car that he left back at home. And yeah, there's so many variables that these guys can go back and forth and use and change to suit their driving style and to suit a track like this. Although I got to say, I don't know that there's any ideal setup that can match a track like this. There's so many variables out there for this track that it's kind of anybody's guess.
Well, I think you said it very well going back even to Thursday whenever I said something about making an adjustment. I think somebody had landed hard. They bottomed the car out, dug a hole in the ground, and I said, is that something that they'll adjust dampers or their driving style? And you said, you know, it's really hard to say, but one thing's for sure, if you make an adjustment for that one jump, it's going to affect everything else on the car and every other part of this racetrack. So it's a give and take out here for this racetrack for sure. You just have to decide which your poison is.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And this track has so many different things, like you say, that the drivers are kind of up in the air, just trying to figure out what works for them best. And I think like we said over and over, the biggest thing on this racetrack is not crashing. And a lot of times it's not the result of you making a mistake. I mean, these drivers are running flawless laps and the track just reaches up and grabs them, you know.
So a good look at that step up where we've already seen a lot of action here today. It has decided winners and losers. That section right there. And we've really kept an eye on it. It was intriguing right off the bat, the very first couple of laps going back to Thursday. And as you can see, the very face of it, the launch there of the step-up has changed just enough that they can now not clear it, it would appear. We certainly have not seen anybody do it today, but on Thursday they did figure it out, primarily in the E-Class, believe it or not, as they got a good drive, just the torque off of those electric motors, got a good drive off the jump part of the step up, and they were clearing that. And we thought we would see them pick up and run with it the rest of the weekend, but in fact, it's gone the other way.
Yeah, the instant power of the e-buggies just were able to make it happen. But now, like you say, I just don't think it's possible, and I don't think it's a line worth risking. I think if you can make it, that's great, but it's not going to save you enough time. The risk to reward there is just not in it for that section anyway. And looking at the track, you can see the main line has gotten a little bit bigger, but if you step outside that main line, it's some loose, fluffy dirt out there that takes you for a wild ride.
All right, so for our fans there that are tuning in to the live feed, we appreciate you joining us here at MidAmerica Outdoors. We are going to take a quick break here, undetermined time, but it won't be too long. Keep an eye on us for sure. We're going to come back here and we'll get the invite drivers out here. I believe that's the next A-Main that is up. It would be A-Main number 2 for them. $1,500 on the line as we progress through and determine who our winner is going to be by the end of the day. So stay with us. We'll be right back with more racing action in just a short time.